Hello again, and welcome into The Works. Jim,
I'm Diane.
a quick update on the Nancy Guthrie kidnapping situation. You know how you were talking about yesterday, the whole dog thing, when the dogs dogs went missing.
Search party.
So, I don't know if it was Ring or Nest, but now they have publicly asked all of the neighbors in the neighborhood if they have any video that that they've downloaded, from their devices or in their account that they could access. And they gave them a date back to mid-January because apparently there were some strangers in the neighborhood spotted.
Yeah, they had 2 dates that they were looking at.
Yeah, the day that you went, but I guess the way I summarize that is that anything from mid-January to that fateful day, if anyone else has video. So that's kind of interesting. My guess is that I'm guessing they found something. Well, I know that, again, they found a glove, but I'm wondering if they're hinting that there are spots or some of these other cameras from the neighbors detected him. So let's hope, I guess. Again, I don't want to sound hypocritical about, what'd you call it? Big brother, big bother?
Yeah, big bother or big brother.
Right. So, hopefully, we'll get a resolution to that soon. It's actually, pushing 3 weeks now? Going into the...
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, sad situation. But what else in the news? The U.S. is doing okay in the Olympics. Not the, powerhouse that they once were. And it didn't dawn on us until we were looking at... So Norway and Italy are leading the total medal count. Now, when it comes to gold, again, Norway's basically killing everybody. Well, as far as the standing, as far as total medal count, but and they are leading with more gold than anyone else. Italy is next. But then it dawned on us because we were looking at some of the country names that are out there, and of course, it just proves how things are changing. The whole territory, the landscape of Europe. We were looking at the counts and scratching our head, go, hey, where's Russia? But Russia's been banned since, 2022? You found out?
Because of Ukraine.
Exactly. Well, and what was the other reason?
Doping.
So, yeah, they're not there. And, we were commenting on things like Czechoslovakia. What happened to them? Right? Did they get, collapsed into one thing?
It's Czechia.
Oh, okay. Let's see. There was a history behind. It was Russia, then the Russian Empire. Of course, it started out Soviet Union, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then at one point, it was called the Olympic Athletes from Russia. Sounds like a cute little club. Community kids. Olympic athletes from Russia. Got to go do Russian things in the Olympics. And the reason I bring up the medal count is it reminded me of that. And this maybe I should bring this up. I know my buddy Matt will remember this fondly. But back in 1984, when McDonald's did a promotion with the Olympics, and the whole idea there was so that I think the slogan was "U.S. wins, you win." If the U.S. got a gold, you got a Big Mac for free.
Ooh, nice.
Silver. But they lost millions of dollars, apparently, they lost. Well, not apparently, I know. As a matter of fact, the way it worked is that you would get a scratcher with your order. So every time you ordered something, and I kid you not, there were times that Matt and I would go in with maybe a fry or a Coke, then place an order and get another, and maybe the fries in the second one, 2 Big Macs in the third one. It was just nonstop food giveaways. As a matter of fact, there were a lot of McDonald's apparently that ran out of Big Macs.
That's crazy. I don't remember that. But then again, we didn't get McDonald's all that often.
You weren't allowed.
Yeah.
Yeah. But of course, that reminds me of the one other fun. Yeah, this should be a. Well, I mentioned making fun of my mother for putting mayonnaise or
Butter.
butter margarine on every sandwich I ever had. But also, get this one. My Happy Meal could not be a cheeseburger. It had to be a hamburger because we brought American cheese slices to put on the hamburger. Wow, that is cheap.
You win.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I'm not trying to point out who had the worst upbringing. But yeah, so what was interesting about the whole 84 McDonald Olympic giveaway, and it was it was a super success, but a disaster from McDonald's perspective because they lost millions. What it was much like, and here's the tie-in. Russia hasn't been at the Olympics for a couple of years. Well, guess who boycotted the Olympics in 1984? Russia. So they didn't, and the entire Eastern Bloc countries boycotted the Olympics. I don't remember what for. I guess that would make my story more interesting. But so anyway, they boycotted. And so that's why, part of the reason why America and USA had done so well during the Olympics, right? You had no competition.
Right.
So what's interesting, though, is, of course, all the bean counters and those that do this kind of stuff, the giveaways, and they, well, as a matter of fact, remember it was the McDonald's giveaway that was rigged, and boy, that'd be a fun topic to revisit. Remember we watched
the
that
Monopoly.
Yeah, the Monopoly.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, with the McDonald's and the Olympics, so when they formulated this idea, they guesstimated based on the last Olympics how many gold medals the U.S. would win, which then was 34. We won 174.
Good God.
Yeah, it was complete domination. No, excuse me. We won 83 golds, 174 medals total. So that was,
wow.
Yeah, that's why they gave away too many Big Macs. But and then I know you like to say Simpsons did it, but there was the Simpsons episode that indeed Krusty's Burger, Krusty Burger in The Simpsons. They also had a 1984 flashback where there was a promotion for Scratch and Win based on the Olympic Games. So Simpsons did it.
Simpsons did it.
Today's topic, we're talking about the environmental truthers, right? We're killing the planet, especially the constant drone of the millennials.
The Gen Z.
Oh, Gen Z. Excuse me. One of them.
Well, millennials too, but.
And how we're, that's why things are so warm and greenhouse gases. We'll talk about that. But before that, we also, we're going to talk about the Olympics coming up too. Strange events, or make fun of things like, curling is a good one, but I didn't realize that, the Olympics this year, the winter ones that are going on now, there's a brand new sport called ski mountaineering, or its shortened abbreviation is called skimo.
What?
Yeah, well, we can talk about that on our dedicated Olympic conversation, but
sure.
But that's a new sport this year.
I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, and luge, women's double luge.
Oh.
So yeah. So
did it go down the hall sideways?
Yeah, I could make some jokes, but I don't know how they position themselves on the what's the luge thing called, the bobsled or something like that. Oh, and there's a sport too that involves a sled, and you sled. I'll have to, but again, we'll talk about that. But speaking of odd sports, odd events from the Olympics. Did you realize that? And thank gosh we don't do it anymore. But here's some Olympic events that we no longer participate in. Live pigeon shooting.
Oh God!
Could you imagine?
No.
Back in 1990 was the last time there was live pigeon shooting. Dueling pistols. 1906. That was the last time. I mean, and that would obviously be. It would be obvious who won that.
Yeah.
No issues with scoring and the Russian judge withholding a.
Yeah.
No deduction.
I'm not dead yet.
Poodle clipping.
What?
Yeah, poodle clipping. That was a sport. or an event, I should say. They don't events within the Olympics. Um, and I guess it was more kind of like how many could you groom, and I guess the winner one year
I
groomed.
think you're just
I'm
making that
not.
up.
It's tug of war was an official Olympic sport from 1900 to 1920.
Tug of war.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Equestrian vaulting. Horses that jump over stuff. Is that what that means? I guess. And obstacle course swimming. Swimmers had to climb over poles, scramble over and under rowboats, and swim under. So, yeah, obstacle swimming.
Hmm.
But I held the last one for the best for last.
Okay.
An official, albeit brief, official sport in the 1908 London Games. Motorboating. Honest to God, true. Well, that's the first thing I thought of, and I can't wait to look that one up. I would have been good at that. Or maybe not.
That's funny.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll talk more about the Olympics upcoming. Yeah, we wanted to get more into detail on the whole idea of the planet. Well, again, the theme of how we're killing the planet is it's warming up. That's our hint, right? That's the clue that we're messing things up. But if I may, to
Well, they say it isn't. Oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, it's change
It's
now.
change. Okay,
Yeah.
yes, climate change.
Right.
I guess that because again, not to sound or point them out as hypocritical, but we did some research,
Mm-hmm.
and again, I'm not trying to fall on one side or the other, but back in 1912, the Los Angeles Times headline: Fifth Ice Age on the way. Humans race will have to fight for existence against the cold. Also, 1970.
Well, wait.
No, go ahead.
Immediately following in 1922, according to the Washington Post, that we have warming.
Yes. So we went from cold.
The Arctic Ocean is warming up, and icebergs are growing scarcer, and in some places, the seals are finding the water too hot. And that was
In the 20s. So we went from cold. Okay.
Yeah, Ice Age to 1922 that it's warming, and then in 23 it was back to a new ice age by Time magazine.
Yeah, I kind of went at it from the approach, and you had a good website. We'll put it on our Facebook page, the links that we used as reference. But
Yeah.
I kind of grouped some of the, let's say, like Newsweek and New York Times. I
Mhm.
went with some of, again, bigger, well established media outlets, and hell, Washington Post. Or what's going to happen to them now, right? Aren't
Right.
they complete? But in the 70s, back to your point about it was, was it hot or was it too cold? Newsweek magazine headlined by because of the increased dust, cloud cover, and water vapor, the planet will cool. The water vapor will fall and freeze, and the new ice age will be born. Headline from January of 1970. And the New York Times in July of the same year, the U.S. and Soviet Union are mounting large-scale investigations to determine why the Arctic climate is becoming more frigid, why parts of the Arctic Sea have recently become thicker, and whether the extent of that ice cover is going to continue or bring on, I should say not continue, but bring on the onset of the ice ages. But yet, like you said, now the theme is it's too hot.
Well, it's about change.
Okay,
Well,
yeah,
yeah,
freely, yes.
it has been changing, and depending what decade, it's warming or it's an ice age. No, it's amazing. But and what got me on this tangent this morning was my Google feed of news, whether it's truly news articles, but there was one that talked about, and this is from the Smithsonian, that during COVID, we all thought one of the silver linings was that since nobody's driving, that, we'd help heal the planet.
Right.
That
Right. No, not as many commuters.
Right. So, part of what's killing our Earth is you have the chlorofluorocarbons, and then you have methane. And according to this article, when we had everybody at home, that we had not more methane because of us, but the earth released a little bit more methane.
Yeah, exactly.
And that there is a chemical out there that helps remove methane from the atmosphere.
From the exhaust of automobiles, right?
Right.
So that's why it. So there's always a tie, or at least they're going to blame something or find a reason for.
Right. So the CFCs went down, but methane went up. So it was a wash. Here we thought we were doing something great because we're not driving and our carbon footprint is lower. And didn't we do good? And it didn't. So I was like, wow, that was something. And then a little bit further in my Google feed, there was one that talked about how we were trying to repair our ozone. That we introduce this chemical to help repair our ozone.
Okay.
But come to find out that these substances are long lasting, they're not going away, and they are potentially harmful forever. And I was like, okay, well, this seems a little odd. So this chemical to replace the chlorofluorocarbons in our ozone, this artificial led to roughly 335,000 tons of this thing called trifluoroacetic acid, TFA,
So
being deposited
into the
atmosphere and onto Earth's surface between 2000 and 2022.
Now, was that so? That's bad because it does what? Depletes the ozone.
Well, that was to help repair the ozone,
Oh.
but this chemical is it persists in the environment. It's harmful to aquatic life.
Oh.
It's being detected in human blood and urine, and they're proposing classifying it as potentially toxic to human reproduction.
And where does that come from?
This was
So I guess the good news is
I'll put the link to it.
yeah. So I guess the good news, didn't mean to catch you off guard, but I guess the good news would be that what we thought in the 70s was killing the ozone, we can all have our Aquanet now.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
because that was the big thing with aerosol cans.
right.
So
right.
we had to go to the spray and the pump, which ultimately clog and.
But you know, my takeaway is that we still truly don't know enough. We thought we were doing good, and in fact, it didn't do good, and it's harming wildlife. It's in the water. It's in the polar caps. It's in our system.
Well, it's the agenda that you want to promote, right? You're gonna find the information to help support, your position. Well, I mean, it's the argument of it. You want to argue the glass half full or glass half empty, and you can use whatever reference material to support that. And in this particular case, I think what you're pointing out is these experts that help give us these opinions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or these experts that their goal is to maybe sway opinion, right?
Mm-hmm.
The reality is, you fast forward 20 years and you come to realize that really wasn't the case. Hell, just like we were talking about with the food pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
What was logical, or at least what seemed logical, bunny rabbits and everybody, they eat, grass and veggies, and those are good for you, But so does a cow, and all it does is eat grass, and they're huge, so But to your point about science and the discoveries, it's you have to wait. Just because we've uncovered one stat, I mean, there's cause and effect, right?
Right. And how conceited of us to think that, the earth has been around forever, and yet we think we know what's how to fix it. I'm not saying that we shouldn't go down these paths and try to game plan to make this a better world. It's just ironic that,
Oh, certainly.
they're head scratchers.
Well, and I think that what'll happen again is much like now. Well, I think one of my personal beliefs is that, when they compare, they make the proclamation that, this was the warmest year in history. And what is that based on? Obviously taking temperatures, right?
Right.
And these thermometers that we used hundreds of years ago, that we didn't sample as efficient or as digitally recorded as they are today, right?
Right.
So you got, Ben Franklin go out with his little thermometer that used to do regular house stuff with, I guess, and goes out, takes the temperature, writes it down, and and again, that was important. We did that, but how accurate was reading a mercury thermometer compared to now? I'm not saying, how do you get 50 and 60 off? You're looking at that thing, but at the same time, I guess my point is that we also have more data points,
Mm-hmm.
and we can form those data points into the opinion that we want. That's convenient for our argument. The team that we want to win, we can form that data into proving things are warmer now than they used to be.
Or proving that they're not.
Not, or not warmer.
Or the double negative. The not.
Yeah. It's just time.
Yeah.
And I guess from the perspective of what gets us all going, right? What are the things that we like to it's our scars, right? It's the cause. It's the scars.
It's the scars.
Another South Park reference, but yeah, we were talking about social media too the other day, and I guess to your point about where we get our information, that's changed a lot, right? The reality of, or
the AI overview versus the actual, Smithsonian or Scientific America magazine.
Right.
You got to get information from reliable sources.
But as you pointed out, though, that there is information that social media can either help propagate,
or squash,
or exactly, and that doesn't necessarily mean it was right or wrong.
Right.
It just changes opinion, but more quickly now. That's the thing, and so much more visceral. It's so instantaneous. And now that I'm watching more or willing to admit that I'm watching more social media, you were talking about this morning, and I wanted to tell you more about what the Last Drink Sir Chugs a Lot did on YouTube.
Yeah,
I don't think it's not Sir Chugs a Lot, but what's his? Yeah.
Yeah. Here I'm getting all geeky and excited to come over with my sciencey stuff, and you're.
Yeah, and then Chugs a Lot, and I know that's not his name, and forgive me, but took down 2 of those new chill beverages from Chick-fil-A.
Oh, and the brain freeze that he got, yeah.
And he used a PVC pipe. I swear to God, it was his.
That's what he said.
Yeah, he called it his straw, not the. Anyway.
Yeah,
so.
how our mornings are a little different. I hate being so geeky, but I love it at the same time.
No, it's again, it's interesting to think back about what we thought back then. We should have their COVID comment or conversation once. And I know there have been several jokes. Gaffigan made a great one. At one point we were so scared to bring our groceries in the house, we had to wipe our Triscuits down.
And we actually did that.
And we actually did that. I mean, we wouldn't bring our food in because COVID was on everything. And what have we learned? I'm not saying that it wasn't highly transmissible, but Yeah. Yeah, that's a fun story. We got our exposure to COVID at what?
Rick Springfield concert.
in Raleigh.
Yeah. Year
Uh,
3 of COVID.
Yeah. And thank God we didn't experience all the
Lack of smell and taste.
yeah. Or have it more than once. But boy, that was a rough. And they say, the brain fog that goes with having it. And we had the damn virus or shot, not virus. We had the
Yeah. We didn't do any of the boosters. I regret doing the original, but that's a whole nother topic. It's divisive to people. So
it is. And all of those to come. But
Yeah.
again, we appreciate you spending a little bit of time with us. And until next time, this is Jim.
I'm Diane.
And you're listening to The Works.